welcome back to Our Small Home Life. I am Haley, and today I am sharing with you the tool essentials for any homeowner, especially the DIY homeowner. These tools will help you with most projects around the house and even some of your little renovations that you want to tackle. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. Also click that bell so you'll get a notice every time we post a new video. Today, we're gonna film this in a little different location than I would typically do. So why don't you come along with me and we'll get started. So come with me as we try a new filming location, and I'm gonna share with you our 11 tool essentials for any homeowner, especially those who are ready to tackle their DIY projects and small renovations. Now, to do any home project or renovation by yourself, you don't need to have a flannel shirt like Al Borland. You don't need to have a table discussion like Tom and the rest of the guys over at This Old House. Secretly my favorite show. But what you do need are some sort of essential tools, right? Those tools that will help you complete most tasks or projects that you're looking to complete for your home. So let's get into those 11 tools that are essential for you as a homeowner. All right, guys, the cordless drill, number one. Really, the cordless drill is sort of the meat and potatoes of every home project that you're gonna look to do. More often than not, you're gonna have to use a drill to take something down, to put something together. You do not need to break the bank to find one, but what I would suggest is finding the right size cordless drill that's going to help with a range of projects. Not one that is heavy duty that you only need for these big projects, but also not those little itty bitty teeny tiny handheld ones that you won't be able to use for everything that you're looking to do. This one right here is perfect for completing any task that we need inside the home and outside the home, and it doesn't overpower or underperform for what we need it to do. Screwdrivers, okay? Tool number 2, guys, is screwdrivers. Now, I say a variety, you really need at least 2 screwdrivers. You are going to want a Phillips head screwdriver, and you are going to want a flathead. Now, I have always called this a flathead, but it turns out that a lot of people call it a slotted or a slot head. So I guess the question of the video, have you called this a slot head or slotted, or do you call it a flathead like we do? Now, the flat bar comes in handy for when you're getting those pesky nails out of the wall, because it is inevitable that at one point or another you are going to try to remove something from the wall that you need to get a nail or a screw out of the wall that would not come out very easily. Additionally, it also works really well with flooring, cabinetry, caulking removal, anything like that that you need a little extra. So tool number 3 is the flat bar. Tool number 4 is the level. It's crucial. You do not want a shelf or a picture hanging crooked, right? Or off center. The other thing now, is this necessary, a whole pack? Probably not. It's one, again, that we have on hand because my husband has had these. We have several different lengths of levels in our home. The one that we use the most, however, is this one. As long as you have a little level like this that you can at least get into most areas, you're going to be able to make sure that your project is on track to be hung correctly, to be put together precisely, and that it is not going to be uneven or off center. Tool number 5 is the sanding block. Anything you remove from the wall is going to create a hole, and you're going to want to make sure that you sand that surface down before you fill the hole or before you start doing any painting. This is also going to go hand in hand with tool number 6, because this is going to be your last step after you use tool number 6. Now, sandpaper works just as well, I will admit. However, I find that a sanding block is just easier to hold and easier to control for most projects. So I just mentioned that everything you remove from the wall is going to create a hole, right? Okay, so tool number 6 is a putty knife, because every hole that you make, you're gonna wanna make sure that you fill in that hole before you start going through with your painting or completing the rest of the project. So just using your hands isn't gonna cut it to fill in these holes to be able to prepare to do the rest of your project. When using a putty knife, apply the putty to the putty knife evenly, all right? Don't just put it in a blob. You want to put it evenly on the edge of the putty knife. Then, using your putty knife, just evenly and smoothly fill in that hole. So you're just going to keep going over it evenly and smoothly until that hole is filled. If you get any ridges, just continue to smooth them out. Then let it dry. Once it dries, when you're done with tool number 6, the putty knife, go back to tool number 5, that sanding block, and just sand the surface down so that it's nice and even and ready to go. Tool number 7, guys, the tape measure. Be honest, this is probably the tool that I use the most, right? Measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, cut once. It's a saying that I have heard all my life. It's one that is not new to most people. However, growing up with a dad who was a carpenter and my husband was previously a carpenter, it's something that has really been instilled in my mind. But ultimately it's true, because you really want to double check before you make those cuts. Another way that the tape measure comes in handy and that I use it the most is to make sure you have accurate measurements at all times of your drawers or your shelves. I like to know how wide, how deep, and how high they are. I also like to know my wall space. I write these down and I keep them in the notes section on my phone so that when I'm out shopping or looking for something, I'm gonna know if something's gonna fit in my home or in that space that I'm thinking of using it for. It's a lot easier than buying it, bringing it home, having it not fit, and then I gotta return it. I want to sort of cut out that step and know up front if it's going to fit. Tool number 8, guys, is a hammer. Now do yourself a favor and invest in a quality hammer. There is absolutely nothing worse than the vibration when you go and strike a surface and that vibration that you feel down the handle that is just uncomfortable. It's like when you hit a bat the wrong way, okay? Now a good quality hammer, you're going to minimize that vibration. It's extremely tempting, I know, to buy that inexpensive hammer, but I promise you, buying a good quality one will last you. This one was purchased, this is a stiletto hammer. We purchased this in 2009. So this is still in great condition from 2009. My husband used it when he was in carpentry for years, and we still now use it for all the projects around our home. Tool number 9 is the utility knife. All right, truth is, sometimes scissors just don't cut it. You want to make sure you use the right tools for the job, and sometimes the job just calls for a utility knife. It's something that's simple and easy to have, and you're going to use it a lot more than you expect. Tool number 10 and tool number 11, guys, I'm not going to sit and hold them up. It's a little ridiculous to do that. Number 10 is a shop vac, all right? Or at least an inexpensive vac. Now hear me out. The reason I say that is when you're doing certain projects, like for example, when we replaced a window, you are not going to want to use your Dyson vacuum that you've spent a lot of money on to vacuum up sheetrock debris on your floor. So I suggest having a shop vac or some sort of inexpensive vacuum that you will use for the projects around your house to pick that stuff up. And tool number 11 is a step stool, all right? Simply put, when you are doing certain projects, you do not want to be up on your tippy toes to do something. You want to be eye level or at least at a better height so that you are hanging things, putting things where they are supposed to go. That step stool is going to help you. There is nothing worse than trying to do a project and pulling over a dining room chair to stand on it. 1, it's not that safe, and 2, I don't know, it's just not that safe. Sorry, it's not. Those were the 11 tool essentials for every homeowner and any homeowner that wants to DIY their projects and renovations as much as possible. Little disclaimer here, please make sure there are certain things leave to the professionals if you are not comfortable or have a good understanding of doing them. Anything that's electrical and anything that includes plumbing, make sure that you have talked to a professional before you tackle those tasks. Are there more tools that you will need someday? Sure, absolutely. I'm not saying that these are the only 11 tools that you will need, and there's going to be other things too. I didn't include nails and screws and hooks, things like that, because to me those are not the essential tools for everyday projects and renovations throughout the home. I'd love to know what your list would include. I hope that this list is beneficial to you. Make sure you go ahead and read the corresponding blog post for this video, guys. It is linked down below. As always, if you have any questions, let me know, and go ahead and make sure that you answer the question of the post over on the blog. First of all, little disclaimer here, guys, is a fancy tool belt really needed to do any DIY project around the home? No, it's not. However, this is a fantastic tool belt. This is an Occidental leather tool belt. This is one that we have had again since about 2009. So it has lasted and it works for most projects that we need around the house. Is it overkill for hanging up a picture? Absolutely, but it makes it a lot handier to not have to grab things off the shelf or off the table when we are completing our tasks. It is my husband's tool belt, but I do wear it and use it as need be.